Game number 1 at the WJLC World Juniors. It's Cody James and Stephen Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you as USA taking on Scotland. Right to action here as the Americans' first opportunity rings iron. Scotland wearing their blues, going right to left on your TV screen. America in their white. Up top, it'll be Zane Fletcher with the ball right now. Swings it over, and Milne gets the offense rolling. Scotland in their first tournament here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, on the beautiful Rush turf in SaskTel Center. Zach Milne now on the roll. Shot is stopped by the American netminder in Jackson Curtis. USA back up the floor, and for Scotland, it'll be Eric LeBlanc, as it's a 10-second count that gets called on the Americans as Liam Quinn's got to put the ball down. Back the other way, Nolan Eastwood was out in front, and he dropped the ball as the pass came a little bit behind him from Murdoch. Back the other way, it's the Americans, and they're on the board first. A breakaway opportunity, and Jason Pechota finds the back of the net, 1-0 USA.
What a start. The Americans almost scoring their first shot. Just as you said, a bit of a break there for the Scottish goalkeeper, who is Eric LeBlanc. But on this one, what a break by Jason Pechota, one of the returning players for the U.S. from last year's tournament. And he is fired up, and you know the Americans love to run, and they're going to be pretty excited about getting that first goal just a minute 10 into the game.
Some of the best athletes at this tournament, bar none, and head coach Oliver Marty knows that. He wants to see his team play with pace because he believes they are the best conditioned team in this tournament, and it's Jason Pechota, the Notre Dame product, to get the offense rolling. Up top, Eastwood, a low to low. It almost snuck behind Curtis, but he falls back on it.
Pechota plays in the Connecticut Box League. Collegiate Box League that Oliver's been so involved in getting going. And
Fermander up top. Looks like Jackson Carawan has it there. His helmet almost looked to be undone. Rest will let him play on here. Carawan from the corner. Behind the net again. Dunks all that free game. Shot goes wide of LeBlanc. Back up top. Shot clock expiring. And Marco Fermander will just dump it down in the corner.
And the kids love going for the dunks. We see a ton of it, maybe to excess because they don't get to do it very often in the leagues they're in. They love to show off the athleticism, and it gets pretty exciting when they're going. Sometimes we feel like they might want to dial it in a little bit, reel it back.
Holmes will fire it down to the corner for Bamford. Ball's up top, and this is going to be over and back as Zane Fletcher couldn't get to it in time, and now he might be caught back on defense here.
Captain Cooper Damali is one of the returning players, again, of a handful of Americans back from last year.
Senez, the outlet. Driving in was Vandenberg. He's pushed out. Ball ends up on the floor, and Scotland will head north. Cameron Fuster over the restraining line, posts up in the neutral zone and hands it off. Well, he doesn't hand it off to Nolan Eastwood. A little bit of a fake there. And Scotland down by 1. Again, no TV timeouts. These quarters are going to fly here. No periods. It's 4 quarters at the IIJL World Juniors. Ends up on the ground, and the Americans swarm the ball. And we got a penalty upcoming here. Slashing will be the call. And USA is going to the power play for the first time in this tournament.
Yeah, it's the alternate captain, Caleb McAndrew, who's heading to the box. And that was a real point of emphasis with Bruce Payton, the RIC for the tournament, at the tournament meeting last night, saying off-ball slashing and excessive body or cross-checking is definitely going to be cracked down on. They want to get that across to everybody early on. So not surprising to see a call early on.
American power play goes to work. Stroob's in the lefty shooter spot. Cooper Damali's up top. Senez right back to him. Down low. Colsey takes a look. Quick stick opportunity, and LeBlanc gets over and seals the post. Tate Watts, the big Kentucky kid behind the net. Damali bounce shot. This goes wide. It's going to stay in play, though. Ball was on the ground for a second. Damali knocked it forward. 4-on-3 now if the Americans want to go quick. Damali, backdoor for Watts, caught it and threw it over, intended for Ryan Colsey there. Behind him, it's on the ground for Scotland as Cameron Fuster will go for a run, but, well, he stripped of the ball and he just booted it forward.
Yeah, great back check by Ryan Colsey, the son of Roy Colsey, one of the all-time great American box players, 50 goal scorer in the NLL.
Nate Sen has another one of those returners. Plays pass with Damali. Minute to go on the American power play. Furman in the top right. Senes hits up over the defender. Shot misses. It'll bounce around, and USA is going to have 4 seconds on the shot clock. Fooster runs up on it, and it'll be the captain to scoop and roll. J.J. Mill rocking the seat for Scotland. High praises from the coach, including Thomas Moffat earlier today, as they said, hey, these guys are the engine, and it's the twins in the Milnes and Zach and JJ that are really going to be carrying the ship here for Scotland. 10 on the shot clock. Scotland still shorthanded. Happy to keep it from the outside. A little roller on goal from Grady Holmes is denied by Curtis.
As you mentioned, the Milnes are twins, and they won bronze medals, twin bronze medals, with the Glasgow Clydesiders at the Alice Rebeski Memorial in Prague in the spring.
Damali up top. Back to even strength now. In front, he's got Colsey there, and LeBlanc makes another good save with the left arm. Dunk attempt ends up behind the net. And that's what they had talked about as well. If a dunk attempt, you cannot be making contact with the goaltender or the net before the ball crosses the goal line.
As we said, they love the dunks. Remember, Tate Watts had 11 goals last year for the U.S., one of the leading scorers on the goal front. Cooper DeMalley is their top returning scorer at 23 points, including 10 goals last year. He was instrumental to most of the things that happened for them.
Zane Fletcher works it up top, and that pass is going to go off the benches, and Matt McCarron is unable to pick it up. It'll be an over and back with 9:15 to go here, quarter number 1. Bit of a cautious pace as these teams, the appetizer to the tournament, Canada-Poland, still to come tonight, 8 o'clock local time here in Saskatchewan. Carawan's out in front, and he scores. Jackson Carawan goes low on LeBlanc, and it's 2-0 USA.
Carawan, as we mentioned, one of the returners, 5 goals, 9 assists last year. Here's his first one. You talked about how they're the most athletic team. Look at the quickness and agility on Jackson Carawan, then just finds the little hole. This is a great shot. Love the one from behind. You can see he finds that little hole on LeBlanc, who plays in Alberta. He's a solid young goaltender, but he's facing a lot. He's going to face a lot of shots tonight, it would look like.
Yeah, the defender in Connor Mooney there got walked around as Carawan was able to get right to the slot, and that's a perfect shooting opportunity. And now we've got a penalty coming up here. I believe it'll just be 1, and the Americans going back to the power play for the second time in this quarter.
Yeah, it's a cross-check to Alex Hall off the face-off as he is probably already realizing how difficult Ian Giesemann is to beat on face-offs. Giesemann, who took the draws last year for the U.S. as well, really focused on that role, and he is adept at getting that ball out, and especially on if they ever have face-offs on the power play.
Watts is in the corner. Damali's up top again. He'll quarterback the power play. Senes is on that side as well. They try and hit Damali in the middle, and it ends up on the ground, so Scotland chance to outlet. Cameron Fooster hits the brakes, and he'll wait for some help on the floor. Down for Murdoch. Happy to eat some of the clock. 15 seconds left as I believe behind the net it's Australia watching this game. If my eyesight isn't going to fail me on this one. Angus Murdoch has the rock though. 3 seconds left on the shot clock, and a bouncer is going to go wide. Won't even make its way to Jackson Curtis.
Curtis played for the U.S. U18 team last year in Buffalo at the U18 Worlds and was really good for them. Played very well. Again, a young goalie, hasn't had a ton of experience, but did play for the Tuscarora Tomahawks this year in the First Nations Junior League. So
Strube up top on this power play here. Senes back to Strube, winds and fires and scores. Strube goes low on LeBlanc, and the Americans up by a field goal.
A little too much space that Scotland is allowing them. It's tough when you're on the penalty kill and you've got the dangerous shooters out on the shooter spots. But look at that space that Strube had, and that is a perfect placement just inside the post. Scotland's got to figure out a way to get some pressure on everybody without opening up so players can cut inside, obviously.
Strube had an assist on Carawan's marker. Now he's got one in the goal column himself. USA up 3-0 with 7:45 to play. No pressure at all coming here on the Americans as Marco Fermander finds a little bit of help. Senez over the restraining line. Carawan, room to shoot. Fletcher will defend. Out of the corner, short side, Fermander tries to beat LeBlanc, but he got over to his left-hand side.
Nice job by LeBlanc, really getting on top of that ball, controlling the rebound. You don't want to let them come in and go for the loose balls.
Alfie West will run it up the floor. Waits for Mason McNeil to hop out there. Grady Holmes now in the corner. He cuts through the middle as well. Wanted a pass. Hard pick on the roll. Shot comes from McAndrew. Kick saved by Curtis. Over to Eastwood now. He'll put one up top, and Curtis makes the save. Nolan Eastwood, a rookie in the junior circuit this past year, got denied, and here come the Americans back the other way, and LeBlanc got his shoulder on Kessler's shot. Another opportunity. Tate Watts is on the crease, and LeBlanc makes another save on him.
It's a good save, but what a play. That is Tate Watts, the big kid. He's huge, but what body control at 6'5", 220 to be able to have that kind of agility, stay out of the crease, get that shot off. He is going to be scary.
Keegan Cochran, the righty. Down for Zane Fletcher. Moving pick got called, and now it'll be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty coming against Scotland. I believe it was for the roll after. The refs are going to call it tight. It'll be unsportsmanlike conduct, and the Americans 1 for 2 on the power play. Get another crack at it.
Yeah, Bamford, you just got to put it down right away. You can't just roll the ball away at all. And that's going to cost them, at least potentially cost them, as the U.S. goes back to the man advantage.
Colsey, left side. Strube is up top again. Colsey will take the shot. LeBlanc makes a save. Rebound was left out front, but they're able to get the outlet for Fooster. He'll have to run down on it. Riley Strube's on his back. Fooster unable to get control, and Riley Strube will. The Salisbury Star runs it up, and he'll keep the power play alive here. Help comes from Ryan Colsey. Cooper Damali back up top. Riley Strube has the latest. He's got it again. Colsey now room short side. LeBlanc got it with that left elbow. Ball batted on the ground, and Scotland overruns one.
It's looking like some edginess, a little nerves for Scotland. Just those things where you're just overrunning the ball, not picking up loose balls.
Senez now, Twister scores. Nate Senez has his first of the tournament, and USA's up by 4.
And that always seems to happen, right? You have that loose ball, easy pickup, and you just miss it. Whatever happens, it just seems to lead. It's like taking bad penalties, like rolling the ball away. It tends to lead, it seems, more frequently, and you can see the spot just squeezing that one through LeBlanc. But again, a lot of room for Senez, who had 4 goals last year for the U.S., and looks like he's one of those guys who will step up a year later into a bigger role.
You got to wonder if Scotland considers a timeout 10 minutes into their tournament, and they're down 4-0 here, looking to stop the bleeding. Scramble off the faceoff. USA ends up with the pill. Fermander behind the net, pushed out by McCarron. Still has possession, though. Kind of wanted the ISO for a second. Carawan to the middle, behind the back, scores. Roll the highlight reel. It's DeGrasse who's got his first of the game, and it's 5-0 USA.
Josiah DeGrasse from Ridgefield, Connecticut. This is lovely. A nice pass by Carawan. Perfect timing as DeGrasse cuts in. And this is, I think, something that comes from the U.S. having a longish tryout process. They have the tryouts. They have camps. This team has spent some time together, probably more than any other team in the tournament. And you can see some familiarity already developing as Carawan just has a sense the exact perfect time to make that pass.
10 minutes and 9 seconds into regulation here. USA up 5-0. Here's Foster. Partial break. Stripped on the back check. And Grady Holmes unable to grab that rebound, but he got taken down Fooster tucked that in the empty net after the fact, but that was well after the whistle.
Nobody was looking, so no delay there. They're waiting to get things set up. Great back check by Jason Pichota, who scored the first goal, showing he can do it at both ends of the floor for the U.S.
Zane Fletcher scans and dishes back for Eastwood, and he scores. Nolan Eastwood sings the top corner. He's got Scotland's first of the tournament, and they're down by 4.
That's a beauty. He's dropping the head of the stick. Now, I know all the coaches are going to be emphasizing to their players, shoot overhand. But in this case, that underhand works brilliantly for Eastwood.
If you can shoot it that well, I don't want to see you shoot overhand once this tournament. Nolan Eastwood with an absolute rifle. Top shelf on Curtis, and Scotland's on the board.
I can tell you I've heard at least one coach from every team that we've seen practice yelling at their players to shoot overhand because they love the sidearms. The U.S. doing a umbrella drill.
Senez hidden ball trick down for Watts. Little inside feed. Damali behind the back, and he scores. Another BTB for the Americans, and they're up by 5 as Cooper Damali's on the scoreboard.
And the Americans just having their way with Scotland in the defensive zone. You can see Damali cuts through, nobody picking him up. They're just way too much time and space for the Americans. Damali knew right away as he catches that where he needed to go from where he caught the pass. It's not even a great shooting position that he's in, but with nobody near him, he had lots of room and time to go around the back and find that far corner.
Damali, the veteran, able to keep his feet out of the crease when cutting out in front, and it allows him the opportunity to get that behind the back shot off. USA set up one more time here. Stroop spins inside, little fadeaway shot. LeBlanc makes the save as Alfie West boxes out Stroop there. Mooney down near side of the floor. Booster out as well, and Zach Milne receives it on the Rush logo. Milne has Fletcher out on the floor, goes near side to him. Forward got taken down, held on to it for a second, and then McAndrew ended up losing full control. USA defense swarming as they throw this one into row number 4 as Scotland catches a break here.
Fun to see Tanner Fetch blowing play in there, who was my partner for the last time we did the World Juniors here at SaskTel Center in 2018.
McNeil up top. Ball got knocked away by Ethan Kessler, and now he's got a break. Kessler all alone, stopped by LeBlanc.
That's a big save, a big confidence booster for the young goalie. You gotta, you see that wide open, and obviously if that ball is much closer to the net, that's not being blown in for the quick restart, but it's far enough outside the restraining line. He's good to go.
They want to keep the ball moving. And the international circuit is Grady Holmes. A little bit of a crease dive there as the Americans are going to throw this one away. Battle ensues down low behind LeBlanc. It'll be a 2-on-1, and Scotland does come back to this. Trainer McCulloch gets the loose ball.
Scotland seems like they're catching their breath a little bit. You come in, you're very excited for the tournament. It's your first time at the Worlds. I'm going to let you go.
Eastwood got his defender on an island, and he scores. Nolan Eastwood's got his second of the game, and Scotland back within 4.
Very different goal. The first one, just the dead spot up, catch and shoot. Look at this one. Slight lean up high to get them moving. Goes across. Nice job staying out of the crease. Look at the footwork, slamming that right foot down, going back against the grain. Right between the legs. And I was saying, like, Scotland looked so rattled for a bit, right? Like chasing around because you come in excited, and then the reality hits that you're playing a very athletic, very good team in the U.S. Now maybe the Scots are catching their breath a little. We'll see if they can keep the U.S. from going on extended runs.
3 penalties in the first 13 minutes certainly doesn't help either. USA with possession, 15 on the shot clock. Look outside by Senez, goes off the coconut of his teammate and out of play.
right up over the mesh at the end of the rink on that one. Bounced out by the Poland player sitting in the corner watching.
Scotland almost ends up throwing one away, and they will as Milne overruns it. And unforced errors like that, well, we've seen it already end up in the back of their net as the defensive unit gets set. Marco Fermander fires and scores. Caught LeBlanc off guard, and it's 7-2. The American offense is rolling.
And this U.S. team just keeps getting better and better, and you can see just a little shot from the outside around the defender, using his man as a screen there around Fuster. And boy, you start to reach for answers here when you get down this much this early, but you got to just keep playing. You got to think about the next one. You can't think about the last one or the last 7.
Well, there'll be a point in time where they got to think about the last one and how they can stop the bleeding here. Still have opted out of using their timeouts. Again, they got a young team in Scotland, but they got to stop the bleeding quick. Dunk attempt's going to count. One more for the Americans. It's 8-2.
I believe that's Vandenberg coming around.
Behind the net.
Nice job just keeping the toes out of the crease, not trying to do too much as he sets himself, just dives out. Knows he's got that corner. He's got the post. Managed to get LeBlanc going the other way and just tucks it in. But yeah, you're saying, maybe the timeout, but just a minute and a little bit left in the quarter. I think Scotland's coaching staff thinking, we've got that break. But
Angus Murdoch controls off the face-off. Scotland down by 6. Feed for Fletcher on the roll. Puts it behind the target. Hopping in the air. Scotland might get a chance here as McAndrew has it. 4 on the shot clock. McAndrew way up top. Holmes on goal, and Curtis will sit on it.
You saw Liam Quinn going through the defensive zone there, number 55 for the U.S. from Chester Springs, Pennsylvania. He's playing for the Nanaimo Timbermen in the BC Junior A League this year, and he is 6'7", 235 pounds. He is a big young man and really trying to work to get that all working for him.
Strube for Colsey. Back to Colsey. He can walk right in, and he scores. The C's part, and Ryan Colsey puts another in the back net, and it's 9-2.
Everyone in blue jerseys just thinking somebody else had Colsey, and he almost looks surprised that nobody's coming. Eventually, he does have Elfie West coming out to try and get to him, but that's just a ton of time and space. And wow, 9 goals in a quarter. That's quite a few.
Almost saw John Kilbride crack a smile on that American bench there. Obviously well known in the Calgary and Alberta lacrosse circuit. Now on the American bench for this week. Sedes up the middle. Vandenberg for Fermander on the roll, trying to pull it back short side. They've had some success. And Milne will knock that back into the corner. And quarter number 1 comes to a close. USA up 9-2 on Scotland. Quick break here. We're back for quarter number 2 from the IIJL World Juniors.
Back here inside SaskTel Center with Scotland head coach Johnny Shaw. Big first quarter for your opponent here, but you got a couple on the board. Just what do you think of your team's performance in its very first period here at this event?
Yeah, I think we looked okay. We're kind of playing their game at the moment, which is the big issue. Had a couple penalties in the first quarter, which is fine, but we've had some good looks. We just need to be a wee bit more patient when we're in the offensive side of the floor. We've had some really good looks. We just need to be a wee bit more patient, test the goal a wee bit more, and kind of wee bit more solid through the back end.
This American team obviously likes to play with a lot of pace. How do you counter that?
It's a difficult one. They're athletes. You just got to play a wee bit more harder, try and stop them in their tracks, and we should be okay. But they're a difficult team. They're a difficult team.
Thanks, coach. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
The IIJL World Juniors is also brought to you by Tech Savvy. Steven Stamp gets you caught up on the first quarter stat pack.
We would run through the goal scorers for the U.S., but there are 9 different goal scorers. There are a couple of guys who have 2 assists. Riley Strube and Marco Furmander, each with a goal, each with 2 assists. But, you've got a bunch, 9 guys scoring goals for the U.S., and I think Scotland trying to stay positive on the bench, but they've just got to close out that time and space. They can't let them keep having that much room.
So what would you do if you are Thomas Moffat and the Scotland coaching staff? You've allowed 9 1/4. Yeah. How do you change it up on the fly so this doesn't get real ugly?
As much as we're saying you can't be back, even give them too much time and space, you almost need to pull back in a little bit and work as a unit. I'm not necessarily saying go zone D, but have some kind of sense of being able to work a bit more closely together, because if anybody gets open, there hasn't been much help. You got to be helping each other.
Giesman on the draw. Scotland will control, and a little drive inside there by Fooster. Ends up going wide.
Jackson Curtis with another save. But a nice chance for Scotland. That's a positive opening to the quarter. Now can they keep building on that?
Pechota opened the scoring at the 2023 tournament here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It's Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you on TSN Plus in Canada, YouTube, everywhere else in the world. Americans lost control. There's 5 left on the shot clock, and Cameron Fooster will run it up into American territory.
That's where, like, little things you'd like to see Fooster. Just wait for a couple seconds. The U.S. is going back. Wait. There's only a few seconds left in the shot clock. Let your guys get to the bench so you've got your forwards out already as you pick it up and your 30 commences.
It's the big man Bamford outside and scores. Tip drill goes in as Caleb McAndrew got a piece of the Eastwood pass off the post in the back of the net, and it's 9-3.
Caleb McAndrew, a Brookfield, Nova Scotia native, and he has probably played a little hockey, because look at that, just taps it with the stick. As you said, tip drill, knocks it home. The population of his hometown of Brookfield, take a guess there, Janner?
500.
Yes, 500 people in Brookfield.
Played junior hockey with Pictou County Scotians, actually, last year. Bouncer on goal, and LeBlanc makes the save.
I think that was a face save by LeBlanc.
Scott, the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels bucket still on, representing the Fort. Americans looking to respond. Short side, left pad save on Damali. Shot clock gets reset. Josiah DeGrasse. Vandenberg, pass got knocked down. He's got to pop back up over the restraining line. Furmander inside. Now he'll set a pick. Backdoor feed for Damali, the defender in Alfie West. Almost got his stick in the way. It ended up on the ground for a second. Another feed inside. It's off the crossmark by DeGrasse.
A fresh 30 for the U.S. And I'll tell you, they had the Carawan cutting through earlier. Again, they're coming way out, Scotland pressuring, and they had 2 guys cut through the middle wide, untouched. You just can't give that kind of space.
Look on the inside, wild bounce there from Spencer Vandenberg. He'll stop it over and back, and he actually made a pass there. Long range, 5-hole attempt. LeBlanc's going to make the save on DeGrasse and slow things down for Scotland. If you can get goaltending now and start chip away, maybe you make it a game here in quarter number 2. Mill has his defender on an island, drives out in front. This one's going to go wide. It'll be grabbed by Grady Holmes. Holmes has 8 on the shot clock. Fletcher is in the middle. Holmes will shoot. It's behind Curtis. And it's going to roll onto the goal line where it stops. But a cross-check call is coming, and Scotland is going to the power play for the first time in this game.
And play is blown down at the end here. As you see the ball trickling. And Scotland, yeah, nobody's going after it. Because I think they may have been thinking we can go get that and try and tuck it home before play is blown down and we get the, get the penalty adjudicated.
I'm not sure the official reasoning of why they blew it down, where that wasn't possession, and especially with the rules being played, a forward can reach into the crease and grab the ball. Nonetheless, Scotland's going to the power play. Fletcher, Bamford. Inside was Eastwood. It's going to be rolling around. Little cutout in front. Curtis makes a save. Holmes has the rebound. Bamford back up top. Jack Bamford over to Holmes. Goes off of his stick, and McAndrew will now walk the top. Bamford high to high, and he scores. Scotland's got their 4th of the game. It comes on the power play.
You were talking to the Scotland coaches this morning at shoot around and said, who are the leaders? And they said Bamford right off the bat has been the guy pulling everyone together, talking real vocal leader for this club. And here he is, a shooting leader. That is a nice rip and the thump on the chest.
It's a glue guy, Selly, right there. Happy to be here. And Scotland not going down without a fight here in quarter number 2. Jake Sommer. Little fake from Senez, a shifty little forward returning from last year. Backdoor quick stick, they score. On the feed, it's Ryan Colsey who taps it behind LeBlanc. And the Americans have double digits.
Doing his best Dan Lintner impersonation. Just sitting on the crease there, finding the open space. I remember asking Dan Lintner once, how do you get open when they know that's what you're going to do? He's like, I don't know, man. They just missed me. And right there, they just lose track of him. And a bit of a tough break for LeBlanc on that one as it goes off his back and into the net.
Well, Colsey's 6'3" and Dan Lintner's 5'7". So it's a little easier for one guy to sneak around on the floor, and especially when you've got world-class skill and ability like Dan Lintner does. So that pass got knocked down, and Scotland's going to have a break. Nolan Eastwood, if he can catch up to it, he'll hit the brakes. Now Eastwood's out in front. Ball goes over the net, and it ends up being a bounce pass over to his teammate in Mason McNeil. Nolan Eastwood probably had a little bit more time than he thought as well. He actually might have rushed it a little bit. Milne's up top. Wild behind the back pass. Grady Holmes has to settle it down. Holmes to the middle now, right down the highway, and he scores. Make no mistake about it, if you give Grady Holmes that time and space, he'll make you pay. It's 10-5.
Grady Holmes engineers a lovely play here. The little stop up and then go. He is an engineering student at Lawrence Tech in Detroit. So I thought I'd get the engineering in, but that is a lovely stop and start, and that created the space, and he really had Curtis over too far to his left. There's just so much space there for him on the post. Holmes makes no mistake.
Well, USA outshot Scotland 19-11 in that first period, and now Scotland's outshot the Americans 6-2 in the opening 4 minutes and 15 seconds of this one. Marco Fermander now, wrong side of the road. He'll like to go for a change, or at least switch spots, as Senez gets the offense rolling. This one's picked off by Fooster. Fooster, he's playing big minutes here. He's going to hit the 30-minute mark if he keeps up these miles he's putting on. Double team, DeGrasse comes in as well. It's on the ground, and USA will control as Stroop's back in his own zone. Stroop for DeGrasse. Little backdoor feed, and they score. It's Cooper Damali who goes low on LeBlanc, and it's 11-5.
The captain, Damali, gets that one in, and boy, I really liked what Fooster was doing there, protecting the ball, avoiding everyone, but then when he had his opportunity, he didn't make the pass to give the ball off, and that's what it leads to. Cooper Damali heading down the floor, and he joins Colsey as the 2-goal men for the U.S., the first 2 Americans to score 2 goals as they get the 2 U.S. goals here in the second quarter.
Well, Scotland throwing punches back towards USA, but the Americans have had a response for every blowback thrown their way by Scotland in this tournament opener. Grady Holmes is attempting to grab that loose ball, and USA winning that battle as well in this game. Kenny Boney hands it off to Tate Watts, one of the breakout players last year as a rookie. Watts now one-on-one with his defender. He'll drive out in front, little jump shot. LeBlanc got his stick in the way. And again, for the goaltenders in this one, they're not used to using a little spoon like that as LeBlanc up the floor. He had Connor Mooney who caught a turf monster. Another opportunity for Scotland, and if they can capitalize on a few of those, I think we're talking about a 3-goal spread here. Instead, it's 6, and USA looking to build on it. 9-10 to play here in the opening half. Vandenberg down into the corner, out front. Damali, it's stuck in the arm and leg pad of LeBlanc. As Cooper Damali's on hat-trick watch already. McCulloch hands it off to Bamford. The big man has Milne to help him out. Little feet inside, and I don't think Cochran got all he wanted on it. DeGrasse now has Nolan Eastwood as the back checker. Eastwood has 2 for Scotland, half their offense at this point. Senez now waits for help in the form of Tate Watts. Watts, the big man, standing at 6'5", 220 out of the University of Tampa. Stroop to the middle, thought about shooting on the roll. Now he's going to kick it to the outside as the shot clock's expiring. LeBlanc's got to be sharp, though, as Colesy got a bit of a twister on net.
Yeah, I think it was after the 30 had expired, but it was close. Definitely got out of his stick before the buzzer. I don't think it got to the net, though, but you don't want to play with that if you're the goaltender.
No video replay at the IIJL World Juniors. You call it as you see it. Eastwood's got the hat trick. Nolan Eastwood, a little low-to-low bouncer, and Scotland's got 6.
And he listened to you. He's hitting the shots with the sidearm, so the heck with the overhand for him. Look at that. Just sees his spot again, shoots around the defender. This is going to be a nice shot here to see it just creeping under the leg of Jackson Curtis. And that's actually going to be a timeout for the U.S. as things tightening up. And Oliver Marty's going to say, hey, let's get things slowed down, take this momentum away.
And the difference in this one has definitely been Scotland's defense has not played up to par, and their offense hasn't been able to capitalize because they very well could have 9 or 10 as well in this game. I believe we've got Ryan Flaherty between the benches. Ryan, what are you hearing on the Scotland side?
They really had a hard time in those first few minutes just keeping up with the pace of the game, but there's a lot of positive talk on that Scotland bench. Just keep up what we're doing here. We're starting to gain a little bit of momentum. They've outscored USA now 4-2 here in this second quarter, and you can see why the American team decided to call a timeout, because they're starting to have a little bit more difficulty, and the Scottish bench just keeping up the positive talk here. They love what they're seeing here in the second quarter.
It's so interesting when you have a team that gets down like that. It's 9-2 after the first quarter. And thanks, Flats, by the way, for that. Of course, glad to have you down there in the suicide box, as they call it. But it can go one of two ways, right? When you get down, either you lose confidence and you lose your focus and just get blown out. Scotland has taken the really more positive approach of battling back, and they look like a different team in this quarter.
I'll tell you one thing for free. Nolan Eastwood does not lose confidence. I've seen that kid play ball enough. He is a gamer who has won probably 3 or 4 provincial championships in Alberta.
4 provincial championships.
There you go.
Yep.
That's off the cuff right there. Eastwood's
well
an absolute gamer. Back the other way, it's Fletcher, and he rings iron.
So close for Fletcher. A nice shot. And there's just a calmness about Scotland that they absolutely did not have before. I just hope their D can maintain spacing and just not give up those cuts through the middle.
Bamford now. Inside there on Curtis. He got it with the right leg. Wasn't the most comfortable looking save. Ball's still on the ground. There'll be a push behind the play as McNeil got knocked over. And Scotland gets the reset.
starting to win a few little loose ball battles, a few of the small things going their way now.
Holmes going one-on-one with his defenders, push back. Bamford liked his shot look earlier, trying to flip it inside, and Holmes won't control. McNeil ends up losing it behind the net, and it's the big man in Quinn with the outlet. Now the Americans have a head of steam. Backdoor feed, trying to tuck that one high, and LeBlanc was saved by the crossbar as Ryan Colsey was at the back door.
Colsey was pretty close to the goal line there.
J.J. Milne now had Tate Watts on the back check. If not, that was a breakaway for him as USA avoids the over and back. Here's Nolan Eastwood, a hat trick, and his first quarter and change of World Juniors action. Skip feed over back to Eastwood, and he scores! Stings the top corner. Nolan Eastwood has 4, and it's 11-7.
Cody, you've seen Nolan Eastwood play a lot. Does he ever shoot overhand? Does he need to?
Does he need to? You just answered your own question.
Wow, this sidearm has been deadly. A beautiful shot, finding the spot that he's after there. And boy, pretty exciting stuff for him, getting 4 in this Scotland IIJL World Juniors debut. And it's a 4-goal game. It's 11-7 when it was 9-2 after a quarter. And man, this is a funny game because it did not look like this was going to be competitive. But Scotland, you know, we talked about how when Flats was interviewing down on the bench, they stayed so positive. You see why.
McAndrew now to the middle. Good defense there by Fermenter, who's out the back gate this time and took off the angle. Fletcher now rolls off a check. 5 on the shot clock. Wild pass is caught by Holmes. Holmes now end of the shot clock. Good kick save by Jackson Curtis. Loose ball's free game. Holmes got tripped up. Ref says play on, and Curtis scoops it in the crease.
Love the big hit on that defensive set by Sommer for the Sommer for the U.S. They want to play a physical game. We talk about the athleticism. We talk about the speed. They also want to play physically. That's one thing Oliver Marty and certainly Andy Ogilvy, the D coach, you know is stressing. Let's hit some people out there.
Spencer Vandenberg, the Lynchburg product, is up top from Illinois. Inside, Tate Watts is robbed by Eric LeBlanc, one of his bigger saves of the contest. Now a stretch. Eastwood's off the back for 5, and it's just wide as he tries to go behind the back. Boy, that kid can play, and he causes a turnover on the back check as well.
He can run, too.
Eastwood's crossing the Atlantic with the miles he's put it on here in quarter number 2. Milne with the ball. Scotland rolling now. We'll see if they can build on it, down by 4 with 4:30 to play. Ball's in Curtis's feet. It ended up behind him, but he read it before it hits the Tim Hortons logo.
U.S. will slow it down and take a breath here, set the offense back up, and they need to find their rhythm again.
Egg Broughton lets the offense go to work. Now a trip is going to get called. That was as obvious as it gets. And a little behind the back there by Colsey, and it's in. A little spinning scoop finds its way behind the Scotland netminder, and it's 12-7. You can cancel the call.
Colsey with the hat-trick goal, and this is some creativity. His dad would be proud of this one. Sure he is. That's a nice little move, just the spin. Like you said, avoiding the crease.
I wanted to see an overhead of that somehow. That left foot stayed out, and we're talking millimeters.
Spinning over top of the line. It can go over. You just can't touch down.
I was meaning his foot.
Yeah, I meant his foot.
I understand now.
Okay.
we're on the same page.
All right.
4:20 to go here, quarter number 2. Carwan's up top. Serez receives the rock. USA back up by 5. Tate Watts looking to extend on that. Airborne, and they'll call a crease violation on the Kentucky kid.
That's Watts' style. The last one where he had the little wide open look.
Booster inside, and they score. It's Keegan Cochran in transition.
The delayed call. I'm not sure what the wait was for on the goal call, but what a lovely play there by Cochran.
Top shelf on Curtis, and he knew right away. I think he was just waiting for the official signal. It did come a little bit delayed, but a nice finish by Keegan Cochran coming out the O gate and bringing it back to a 4-goal game with less than 4 to play in quarter number 2. Strew back up to Damali. Senes is with them. DeGrasse, little inside cut. Behind the net, dunk attempt coming, and LeBlanc read it this time, got over to his right on Damali. Up for Fuster again. As a man back door, thirds off the bench, and he hit him with a low pass there as Millen was coming, and he got one in the Nikes. On the logo, the Americans are going to throw one away as well, as Carson Forney was ready for it, but the pass came rolling through him.
The dummy by Alex Hall lets it roll through to his keeper, employing a bit of a football move there, European football it is.
Enjoyed watching Forney last year at this tournament as well, the Stony Brook product. He's a guy who you'll see lock down some forwards throughout this event. Save made by Jackson Curtis as he gets one in the logo, and he'll find Ethan Kessler on his left.
You were saying in the first quarter, the U.S. had a response for everything that Scotland did or tried to do. This time it's really Scotland having the answers.
Opened up some space, and LeBlanc's got it in his pad.
I cursed him.
As a little cut to the middle there by Spencer Vandenberg, the righty with a big whip, and LeBlanc with the save keeps them within striking distance here in the opening half. Well, we watched shoot-around this morning, and I think everyone was on the same page when we said it's going to be high scoring out here, and we're seeing it already in game number 1 of the round robin. Scotland looking to tack on one more before halftime. Zach Milne's in the corner. 3 to shoot, put it on net. Curtis made the save, rebound. Pachota's out there battling. Him and Milne are getting into it. As Curtis will slow it down with the outlet. Pachota has a man back door as Damali. Thought about a stretch move there, but I believe that was Fuster back on defense, who pinched him off right away. 90 seconds to go here in the opening half. USA up by 4. Tate Watts down to the corner. Senes, quick shot as it was expiring. They'll say it got on goal before the shot clock expired. But now Fuster is going to go for a run. Mooney's up there. He'll head off for a change, and Scotland looking to get 5 forwards on the floor. Grady Holmes now down the half wall. Holmes driving, trying to avoid the crease, but he got pushed in, and that's a good defensive effort there by Kessler. You drive your guy towards that near post, and if you can push him on the paint, it's going to work out in your favor. Ball ended up on the ground, and USA is going to control here. Less than 45 seconds to go now. Turned over to Holmes. Forney ended up losing that one. Scotland, there's about a 9-second differential shot clock, game clock. So they could have taken a quick shot and tried to get another possession, maybe a timeout in. Instead, they're going to play on here. 5-on-5 on the floor. Now a 5-hole attempt there by McAndrew got stopped. Behind the goal, it's a loose ball. It's up for grabs. USA will get possession. I thought Scotland was going to grab it, and Milne might be able to get a timeout. The Americans can pull their goalie now and go back the other way. I believe Forney wants to wait this one out, though. Colsey up top for Vandenberg. USA will go 6-on-5. Vandenberg inside. LeBlanc makes the save. And that's how we'll close out quarter number 2 in SaskTel Center. USA has their offense clicking. 12-8 the score after 30 minutes of play. Nolan Eastwood, 4 goals for Scotland. He's buzzing, but the Americans have one-upped them as we head into intermission time. We're back at the half, first quarter, second quarter highlights. Some more thoughts from Ryan Flaherty between the benches on TSN Plus and YouTube. The IIJL World Juniors are brought to you by Adrenaline Lacrosse. Down floor side, it's Ryan Flaherty, the third member of our team.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Cody. And what a great first half of action here at SaskTel Center. High octane, high energy. Of course, USA leading Scotland by a score of 12-8. And this is the very first ever appearance in this event for the Scottish team. In fact, a country that really doesn't have much of a junior box lacrosse program to speak of, but this event and others like it are part of their development model. In fact, is a partnership that they reached with the IIJL back in 2020 to help them start to develop junior men's box lacrosse and junior women's box lacrosse, and big part of that is having North American players with Scottish heritage playing in events like this, and then hopefully taking that over to Scotland as they get older and helping to continue to grow the game over there. We're talking about a country that has only a couple of facilities that are devoted to box lacrosse. In fact, I was talking to a couple of members of the Scottish crew, and they was a little unsure, but they weren't certain that there was even one arena in Scotland that is ready for box lacrosse year-round. In fact, lacrosse as a sport as a whole is more of a women's sport in Scotland, but that's changing. There's men's domestic leagues as well, and now they're getting the junior program going, and it ends up going to places like these, and this is a huge part of it. And the fact that they're able to have a game here with this USA team, not just be a walkover, give them some real battle, and actually get some real important experience in big level events, that's just going to serve this Scottish junior program well into the future. And for the coaches as well, it's good development for them. They don't necessarily get to coach with or against a lot of players of this caliber all the time, at this level at least. And so now they get some experience as well, learn some different tactics, maybe see how some other countries do things, and then they can take that back to Scotland as well. So it's really a great opportunity for everyone involved with the Scottish program from top to bottom, and of course the players get just an absolutely wonderful opportunity to play at a top level against some international opposition. We're going to take another break here. USA leading Scotland 12-8 at SaskTel Center. Back with more halftime after this.
IIJL World Juniors are brought to you by Canadian University Field Lacrosse Association and the Maritime University Field Lacrosse League. We're at the half here at SaskTel Center. It's Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you. USA, a big first half here. They jump out to a 12-8 lead on Scotland. A wide variety of goal scores as well, showing their depth from top to bottom. And again, as you look at some of these highlights from the first half, it really was they're scoring goals in a variety of ways.
Yeah, they're scoring in transition. They're scoring right off the break. They're scoring on wide open looks. They've got a couple of behind the back goals. You can see Carawan here with a lovely pass. The passing game very sharp for them. A lot of defensive breakdowns for Scotland early on, especially in that first quarter where the U.S. got 9 goals from 9 different scorers. Things changed a little for the U.S. in the second as they wind up getting a couple of guys scoring as Colsey goes for the hat trick. Damali gets his second of the game, and then Scotland, it was all really one guy.
And Nolan Eastwood was phenomenal to watch. If you haven't heard that name before, you're going to remember it after this week. This kid can play. He scores in different ways as you see him cut underneath the defender. He's got a load of low, he's got a load of high, and you can see it right there. A little bouncer skips its way in as he's got 4 in his first half of IIJL World Junior action. The smile tells the entire story. First half is done, second half is on the way. It's Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty, and we're back with third quarter action in a couple minutes' time. Scotland and Nolan Eastwood trailing by 4. Eastwood has 4 in that opening half of play as we jump into quarter number 3. Scotland a very slow start. Obviously, the first quarter doesn't go their way, but from trailing 9-2 to being down 12-8, it feels like that second quarter was a win for them.
Well, it was. I mean, 6-3. They outscored the U.S. in that frame, and that is huge for this team to turn it around. We said they could, things can go one of 2 ways, and it went the best way it could have for Scotland. I mean, you're down 9-2, you're not going to come back usually and be in the lead at the half, but they're in a pretty good position here. We'll see how they come out, who makes the adjustments at halftime. There's not a ton of time. I think people think, you go in and the coaches have their big changes. There's not that much in the way. You're emphasizing some small things. I just wanted to point out one thing that happened at the end of that first half, and that was the U.S. goaltender Jackson Curtis. The wheels, he was showing Christian Del Bianco type speed heading to the bench for the extra attacker. They only had 12 seconds to play when he started to go to the bench. I thought, what's the point? Why even go? He got there in a few seconds and actually gave them a chance to get a 6th attacker out.
Got the wheels, you might as well use them there. As the Americans, they had an opportunity at the end as well. They've been able to capitalize on their power play as well. It looks like between the pipes, though, they've made a switch, and Aiden Malone will now be in net for quarter number 3, what I would assume would be the entire second half. Back underway here, and USA has the ball to start. Marco Fermander scans the floor, waits for a fifth forward who comes on a little bit late, but they still got a dozen on the shot clock. Colsey outlets, Senes in the corner. He'll rip this one across, and Colsey scores on the quick stick, back of the net. USA strikes 27 seconds into quarter number 3.
They scored pretty quickly in the first, and they score another similarity here is this backdoor quick stick, and Colsey's so calm. I mean, that is hard to do. He makes it look so simple, but it's also a perfect pass right up above the ear. Great position, and Colsey, with those natural scorer's hands, just tucks it home.
4th goal, 5th point of the game for Ryan Colsey, as Nolan Eastwood goes and lays a hit off that face-off. Again, the Americans get possession here, up by 5. At one point in time, they were up by 7. Eastwood stood up by Strube. Right back on him, though. Strube and Eastwood getting into it a little bit there on the far side. Over to Fermander now. Fermander. Little fadeaway shot goes wide of Scotland netminder Eric LeBlanc, who's been their guy from minute 0 here. They haven't wavered with him between the pipes. Scotland offense. Eastwood, extended shift for him. It's half the offense for the Scottish team in this game. Back over to Eastwood, zips one down low for Holmes. He's on the roll and bounces this one all the way back up for Milne. Milne now from distance. Save is made by Malone. Egg brought up the floor. The grass, little inside feed at the feet of Senes. And a moving pick will be called, and so it will be Scottish ball here. In transition, USA has had those opportunities. They haven't been able to capitalize on all of them, though, despite putting 13 up on the board. Keegan Cochran scans the floor. The righty zips it over to Zach Milne. Bamford up top now. McAndrew runs into a maze of bodies. Bamford from the restraining line, it's off the post. Going near side, beat the American netminder and caught some red iron. Good defense by the Americans in Sommer. Scotland controls. Back down for Milne, driving. He got taken down, and the roller ends up with Aiden Malone. Pachota leaves it off for the offense, and he'll go for a change. Colsey scans the floor. 5 points of the game. His pass got knocked out by Fuster. Chasing now. It won't be over and back because it went off the Scottish defender, as it's back up to Colsey in front of the penalty boxes. 1 second left. Bouncer might have had a little bit of space near side, but Eric LeBlanc plays his angles and lets it roll wide.
We mentioned that Kufla and Muffle are among the sponsors bringing us this tournament, and we've got a couple of Muffle players on Scotland. Going to touch on them soon.
Eastwood steps into one and he scores. Number 5 for number 91, and Scotland's got 9 on the board.
I have to let it get back to you with Eastwood with the ball, because anytime he has it in his stick, obviously dangerous, and you can see a lot of space for Eastwood. The defender is coming out and definitely setting a bit of a screen on his goaltender there. I think Jackson Curtis would probably say, hey, I'd rather see that than you have you 5 feet away from him just standing in the lane, so I can't see where the ball's coming from.
And a shooter like Nolan Eastwood's got the ability to pull it in multiple different areas of the net. Goes short side that time. Scotland back down by 4. Loose ball grabbed by Connor Mooney in the D zone. Takes a bit of a crack as McCulloch sets a pick, and Connor Mooney's going to go for a run. Mooney, one of 2 on this roster, is Ethan goaltender on this Scotland team. Oh, that was a tough one. Scotland. We'll get it tied up by the end of the week here. Back up top. Shot got whiffed on by McAndrew. Trying to throw a twister. And they're going to call a shot clock. So they didn't reset it in time, and the refs were counting that down. That's why the buzzer did not go off.
Pair of Ethans between the pipes for Scotland. As the backups, you mentioned Ethan Mooney. Ethan Dalkeith is the backup in this game. We're number 50 for them.
Stroob's up top. The lefty won't let it go. Little cut towards the middle. Good defense there by Scotland. That's the most physical we've seen them play all game as DeGrasse got pinched off.
And the best team defense. So you can see them starting to work together, starting to get a feel for each other and coming to each other's aid when necessary. And boy, what a difference it makes in limiting the opportunities.
Scotland fans will let them know how happy they are about it. Now it's Nolan Eastwood. He's on sock trick watch already in this game. Little flip back for Fletcher, and I don't think Fletcher was expecting it. Eastwood's got it back. No, loose ball all by himself. Eastwood spins down, dropped the ball, and now it's going to be in the corner, and Mason McNeil won't have time to get a shot off, so the Americans get to run back the other way. Brett Newman now buzzes up the floor. The Clark University product for Marco Fermenter. On the restraining line, drops it to Jackson Carawan. Senes, back for Carawan. Might have had room to shoot, decided to try and drive instead. Now on the roll, defender soaked it in Angus Murdoch. Murdoch has it again, he's got Fooster up the floor. It's a break, if he can catch on to it, he'll spin back and he scores! Oh, what a finish, Cameron Fooster. We thought he blew it. He ends up blowing one past the netminder and Aiden Malone, and Scotland down by 3.
Turns into a bit of a broken play when he drops that ball, and Carawan coming back in transition defense actually just runs right past him as Fooster jams on the brakes, makes the spin. Really nice pass on that play there to get it going by Angus Murdoch, and then Fooster just recovers. And you know, we talked about early in the game, they looked a little scrambled, a little frantic, Scotland. That is a composure play, a poise play, when you drop that ball and just think it through and instinctively stop and turn and get your shot off.
Cameron Fooster now a goal and an assist in his tournament debut. USA looking to build back on that lead. They got an early goal here in quarter number 3 in quiet since. Cooper DeMolly. Out of the corner, backdoor feed. Carawan's inside, and he's stopped. Pardon me, that was DeGrasse, who tried to tuck it over the shoulder of LeBlanc. Backdoor, DeMolly all alone, stopped by LeBlanc. Good stick positioning, but Scotland will be shorthanded.
Yeah, it's going to be a check from behind that came on that play. Charles Glover, I was going to say, he got onto it and denied that scoring attempt, but he did it a little illegally. You can see they've just lost him, and that is a pretty solid check from behind. That's not a horrible penalty when the guy's naked on the crease just ready to tuck it home. You've run out of options.
USA power play, 2 for 3 in the game. Markers coming from Stroob, and the other came from Senes. Good defense there by Scotland. Ball ends up on the ground. Scoop by McCulloch. McCulloch now has his pass deflected by Watts. The big forward able to get his stick in the way, and Colsey has the loose ball. Power play will continue. Shot clock gets reset. Forwards jump back in. DeMolly's out there. Stroob up top. Colsey. Stroop. Over, it's a low to low. LeBlanc's going to make that save on Senes. Throws that left arm behind just in case it fell back, but he's able to keep it in front of him.
It's always a tricky one for a goal. You want to make sure, if it's getting by, you want to reach back and get it. You don't want to move and have it get loose if you had it in the first place. So
Scotland shorthanded for the next 55 seconds. Ball ends up going down to Holmes. 1-on-2. Dunk attempt and good goaltending there by Aiden Malone. He doesn't give up anything, and he gets on the crossbar as well. Doesn't allow anything to come behind him. Strub on the power play, a little bit of a different look now. Colsey's going to be in the lefty shooter spot, and Demali's up top. More of a feeder, but he can definitely rip the pill when given the opportunity to. Colsey, Demali, Senes, back up top. Colsey winds and fires, and that one got soaked by Alfie West. Demali for Colsey, and the shot clock's going to expire on him. I don't know if the Americans thought they got a reset, but the awareness certainly wasn't there.
Yeah, they were pretty calm, or really not showing any urgency to get a shot off there. They may have thought the block had gotten through the goalie.
Nolan Eastwood's going to force a turnover, and he's robbed by Malone. Eastwood hunting for a sock trick. Now a push in the back by Carawan. Won't get called. Mooney tripped up on the play as well. Eastwood battling in there. Charles Glover comes in to help. A war on the half wall. It's still loose for a second. And Eastwood's going to come back as he steps into Sommer. Sommer with it again. Looking for some help on the floor, and it'll come in the form of Jackson Carawan. 22 on the shot clock. Plenty of time to get set up on an offensive set here. But Colsey, room to walk right in, and it'll peel some paint off the pipe. Got it back. Reset comes. 6 to go here. Quarter number 3. Colsey in the middle. Bounces this one over the target. Carawan with it again. Shooting gallery continues. It's just not on net. That time it is, but LeBlanc is up to the task.
That one gets away from Murdoch, but they're lucky they have someone in behind in Fooster, who's been everywhere for Scotland tonight.
Well, they say he's a D guy, but he's been running a lot of transition here too. And when you got legs like that, you might as well put him to work. And that's exactly what Thomas Moffat and company are doing with their big defender. Here's Bamford, 1-on-3 out in front. Malone makes the save as he drops down into that hockey-like butterfly. Newman for Demali. A little bit of a fake pass, trying to buy some time off his defender. Stroop down for Tate Watts. The Kentucky kid looking to drive, kicks it back door. Furmander looking to go short side. Looked like that went off LeBlanc. Maybe it was the side of the net. They'll force a turnover there. And now a call is going to be coming. It'll be a slash against Riley Stroop, I believe.
Yeah, it's Stroop heading off. A little slash on the forecheck pressure. And Scotland's going to get a chance to show off their power play and try to get back within a couple of goals. You can see it's coming up right here with the big swing by Stroop knocking the ball out. Just wanted to mention, I mentioned the muffle players. Zane Fletcher, number 3 for Scotland, plays for the Dalhousie Tigers. And playing for St. Francis Xavier, the X-Men, is number 24, Alex Hall.
Bamford's up top on this power play. Fletcher on the near side shooter spot. Holmes cuts through the middle. Bamford backdoor. Eastwood, quick stick, scores! Sock trick, Nolan Eastwood. Welcome to the World Juniors, kid. It's 13-11.
What a finish. We have seen so many different goals, types of goals here from Nolan Eastwood. And this is a really nice touch pass. Great vision by Bamford to get it across. And
what a finish.
Yeah.
You just, every opportunity.
Yeah.
We see the pressure get to players where you're missing the shots, you're gripping the stick tight, you're overthinking these plays. That kid just finished his first year of junior lacrosse, and Nolan Eastwood's got 6, and we're not even done quarter number 3.
And you see the high arc by Malone, the goaltender for the U.S., playing up, really opens up some space on that back door. They're gonna have to balance that out.
Back for Colsey, and he's stopped by LeBlanc.
Colsey almost with his 3rd backdoor quick stick.
Scotland punching back. Now in transition, it's Milne who's stopped by Malone.
Milne thought he had that one too.
Well, it was a little bit of a weird save by Malone where he did take a look behind him and took that extra step out. Now Forney trying to scoop it back to help, but it was Milne actually on the back check. Poked it over to Matt McCarron.
Yeah, nice awareness by Milne. Didn't get too much of it, but put the pressure on and the little touch just to goose that ball up and get possession back.
Up top, it's Zane Fletcher. He'll work his way down. Pick got set. Short side, they score. Mason McNeil cuts the lead in half. It's a 1-goal game with 3:38 to go in quarter 3.
Mason McNeil striking a sweet, sweet note on this one. A little bit of a change-up. Switches the tempo a bit, and it gets a piece of Malone, but boy, oh boy, 13-12, a 1-goal game. Malone, the chorister, sings in a choir, and that is a lovely note he strikes.
That's a Steven Stamp fact if I've ever heard one right there.
Thank you, I think.
I love it. I love
Okay.
it. Learn something new every single day. Kenny Boney now spent some time playing juniors here in the great province of Saskatchewan. USA looking for a response. Only 1 goal in this second half so far. And this one zips behind the goal. Damali now. Bouncer. It's going to go back, and they'll give it a reset. Maybe it caught a piece of LeBlanc. It kind of sounded like it skipped off of something. You just never know if it was the back of the net or not. That one's going to roll and go in. USA has a response. It's 14-12.
Is that Josiah DeGrasse putting that one in? Yes. So what a big momentum stopper for the U.S. A little step back, underhand shot, almost an excuse me shot, just finding a bit of space on the far side. And that's huge because it had been 10-4 for Scotland since the end of the first quarter. So the U.S. really needs to get something going, and sometimes it doesn't have to be the biggest, hardest shot. You just got to make something work your way.
Good finish by the Tufts product. And Josiah DeGrasse. Pachota. 2:47 to go here. Quarter number 3. USA looking to roll. Shot from Strew. Bounces high. 10 on the shot clock. Another bouncer. It's going to go. USA is adding more. This time it's Nate Senes who bounces one home. It's 15-12.
Maybe the U.S. has a rule that they have to shoot sidearm. Employing the Eastwood approach, that's a bouncer that just squeaks through. And boy, that, obviously goalies never want to give up a goal, but we talk about goals that a goalie would like to have back. I think that's one that LeBlanc feels like he should have had.
And it's a different game for him. It really is when you can't use the traditional Woody, when you've got a different stick, when players are allowed to score goals in different ways. It completely changes the way the game has been played over summer for a lot of these players who do play summer ball.
And it becomes so instinctive for goalies to set and rely on that big stick in between their legs.
Colsey. Inside dish there, another backdoor feed. It got picked off by the defender in McCulloch. Now in front, Fooster's all alone. He put it right in the logo of
Love
Malone.
the pass by Bamford, though, with some pressure on him to know he just had to get the ball ahead because Fooster was all on his own.
Now USA got caught with 6 out there, I believe. Illegal substitutions the call. Scotland going back to the power play where they're 2 for 2 already in the game.
So with the momentum swinging back to the U.S. a bit, it's going to be a chance here for Scotland. You can see Nolan Eastwood's going to set up down on the goal line, the crease man for now, and we'll see how they work to spring him, and if the U.S. winds up over-focusing on him, if they spring it to somebody else to get a shot.
Well, we're at that point where you probably stick someone on his logo, don't you?
You would think.
He
It's
scored
tough, though,
6
short-handed, right? Then you've got a 5-on-3 or 4-on-3.
You'll take the 4-on-3 if Eastwood doesn't have the ball.
Not
Bamford now, he'll cut to the middle, rips it high to low. Save is made by Malone, and he'll outlet it over to his defender. Up the floor, Kenny Boney will go for a bit of a run here. Little feed inside, and now Oliver Marty and company are wanting to use the clock here. 15 that they can eat off the shot clock. In the corner, you see Poland. They'll take on Canada, 8 o'clock local time. Again, TSN Plus in Canada, YouTube everywhere else. Carawat, low shot again. They're trying that bouncer, everything at the feet of LeBlanc.
That was deflected off the defender, a little bit of a soak there, so no over and back, but the 30 expires anyway, so Scotland still gets possession. They have a minute 9 left on their power play chance.
Essentially on the power play for the rest of the quarter, barring a goal. Jack Bamford's up top. Zane Fletcher in the righty shooter spot. Grady Holmes hanging out in the lefty slot. Now they'll find Nolan Eastwood. 6 goals in the game. The sock trick has been unlocked already in this tournament. Bamford now sees part right down the middle, and Malone with a clutch save for the Americans. He's finding his rhythm now after a tough start to quarter number 3.
6 goals for Eastwood, and that was a lovely pick to open up the lane for Bamford. And now we're going to have a delay game on Eastwood, and he doesn't like it, but yeah, you can't be on top of the player. You got to give him 9 feet, 3 meters.
Fachoda wasn't happy with Bamford. First of all, Eastwood came in there to get in the way as well, and so we'll play 4-on-4 and open up the floor a little bit as you get a second look at Bamford gave him a little crack.
And the RIC again saying last night at the meeting, I know what you're doing if you hold on to the ball for a couple of seconds and then put it down. You're trying to pretend like, oh, I'm just holding it for them until they're ready. No, you just put the ball down. You can't wait and get your guys out on the floor.
Tate Watts now to the middle, and by RIC, you mean referee-in-chief,
yes,
who
yes, I do.
overlooks all of this here for those at home. Again, the rule of thumb, 9 feet is what you want to give them once you drop that ball down. Eastwood was probably closer to 3 feet, if we're being generous. All right, 4-on-4, though, still for the remainder of quarter number 3. Scotland has the ball. They're not going to pull LeBlanc, though. They could have gone 5-on-4 here. Instead, Milne from the restraining line bounces that one. Malone not tested as Holmes takes a little bit of a push at the end of quarter number 3. Scotland has made it a game down by 3. 15-12 is the score. Third quarter comes to our wrap. Fourth quarter coming up next from Saskatoon. The IIJL World Juniors is brought to you by STX Lacrosse. Let's go down bench side. Ryan Flaherty is with American head coach Oliver Marty.
Here with USA coach Oliver Marty. Oliver, I just heard you use that relax word with your team. Obviously, you had a big lead early. They've pushed back. What do you have to do here with the final 15 to close this one out?
Well, they're playing well. We're just we're a little sloppy right now, a little anxious. Just told them to play controlled and play patience and pick up the loose balls. I think we're playing a little bit scattered, a little excited, and I think we just play our game properly and things will drop for us.
I know one player does not a team make, but Eastwood's got 6 already here tonight. Do you have to make any adjustments to try to contain him a little bit more?
We talked about Eastwood, and he's made some great shots and some great plays, but I think it's our defense that have not been playing the setup that we want. I think we make some small adjustments, and we should be okay.
Thanks very much for this. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Ryan.
Guys?
Ryan Flaherty there, bench side. The IIJL World Juniors brought to you by Maximum Lacrosse. MaxLex. Again, Canada-Poland coming up tonight, 8 o'clock local time. That's in an hour and 34 minutes. If you're looking at your watch right now, Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp with you. Scotland down by 3. Obviously not out of it, but Stamp, what do they got to do here to come back?
I think just keep playing the way they are and keep pressuring the U.S. But that team defense, to me, has been the big key for them. They've given up 15 goals, but the defense has been so much better since the end of the first quarter. They give up 9 in the first 15 minutes, 6 in the 30 minutes since. You keep that pressure, but smart team pressure. And I think maybe find somebody else who can put the ball in the net as well, because U.S. has got to be paying attention to Eastwood.
USA will start on a power play. Eastwood's in the sin bin for another 72 seconds. USA 2 for 5 on the man advantage in this one. Both of those power play markers came in quarter number 1. Stroob's up top. Senes and Watts are near side on the boards. Outside look, 4 on the shot clock. Senes rips this one over to Colsey, and he's stopped by LeBlanc. Ryan Colsey, 4 goals, 1 assist for 5 points in this contest already. Trainer McCulloch. He's got the low sock game going on there too. That's a little Graham Hossack style from the defender. Zach Mill now waits it out. 10 to kill on the shot clock here. Scotland shorthanded, down by 3. Milne's in the corner. Trying to go short side. It's off the back of the netting there. Got a couple oohs and ahs from the crowd, but it faked him out. We had a good angle from our broadcast booth.
Bit of a mom goal, not too much, but people get excited when they see the mesh move. Fair enough.
Stroob leaves it for Watts. Senes back to even strength in 4 seconds. Senes now zips it back with Colsey. Been really impressed with his game. Senes back up top again. Fermander. 2 to shoot. Damali on the fadeaway. LeBlanc makes a save, and that gets the reset for USA.
Nice hustle by Eastwood to get to the bench, get another defender out, get Fooster on the floor instead of him being stuck for the set.
Yeah, you want him on the offensive side, that's for sure. Tate Watts has to be careful of the crease there. Scooped it up top, a little behind the back action by Colsey. Bounces back into the neutral zone. Won't be over and back. Caroline was there. USA another look here. Shot by Damali, got blocked by Fooster. He is putting in work right now. Fooster up the floor. Damali's on the back check. He'll spin, looking for his second, and he's stopped by Aiden Malone.
It's a lovely move by Fooster again, stopping up, employing the little spin move and getting a great shooting chance.
Get a second look at it there as we're back underway here. 12:40 to go, quarter number 4. No periods here at the IIJL World Juniors. Quarters, how lacrosse is meant to be played. Colsey down into the corner. Looking for a little bit of a dunk attempt here. LeBlanc knew it was coming, and he sealed off that left pipe. Marco Fermander was looking for any sort of room to try and squeak it by, and as you said, the kids love the dunk attempts here. You're allowed to do it. It's turf, it's the best setup, and you might as well play by the rules.
Looked like Fermander was trying to get that shot off behind the goal line, which of course wouldn't have been a goal or a reset, because you can't initiate the shot with the head of the stick behind the goal line.
Fletcher's shot bounces out of play. Here goes Carson Forney, returning from Illinois. Lets the offensive experts go to work. Senes has Josiah DeGrasse with him out in front, and Senes scores. Caught it mid-stride, tucked it over the shoulder, and it's 16-12 USA.
Oliver Marty talking about his team calming down, breathing, just playing their game, and they get back to it a little bit here. And the thing, this had to be a very nice pass, because we talked about Scotland and how open a lot of these U.S. players were in the first quarter for a bunch of those defensive breakdowns. Scotland's getting more pressure on their. That was better defense than we saw for most of the first, and the U.S. had to up their game on the passing and finishing side.
Senes now has 3 goals and 3 assists in this contest. The Americans, well, it got a little dicey at times in quarter number 3, but they're back up by 4, and it is a comfortable cushion with 11:30 to go here, although anything can happen in the game of lacrosse. Fermander. Damali's going to set a pick inside. Carawan blew a tire on the PlayNow.com logo. On the roll, and it's going to be Vandenberg to fire this one over the shoulder of LeBlanc, and USA up by 5.
I may have jinxed Scotland by saying they were playing better defense, because that is just losing track of the cutter, and Vandenberg makes no mistake, takes advantage, just enough of a pick to create that little bit of space. But as a defender, you've got to be able to get through that amount of contact and stay on your man.
Spencer Vandenberg, second goal of the game. Finds the back of the net. Giesman off the draw. He wanted to stay and play a little bit of offense here. Face-off expert. But he'll head off for a change and let the forwards go back. Again, you only get 2 round-robin games. Not a lot of time to build that chemistry, so you want to get the offense clicking as early as possible in the week.
That's why you will see things like late in a game, a team even leading by a fair bit, will call a timeout off and just set up a 6-on-5, saying have a chance to work on things they don't often get a chance to do. We'll see if that happens today.
DeGrasse up the floor. Man, all alone in Carawan, and he's stopped by LeBlanc.
That's a pretty nice arm save by LeBlanc.
And you get another look there as Jackson Carawan off the arm, off the crossbar and out. And this one, LeBlanc got a piece of it. He's got a spin to keep it out, but it won't cross the goal line, and that's all that matters. Now we'll see if Scotland, in quarter number 2, they were really able to stretch the floor. They scored 6 goals in that quarter, a lot of them in transition as well. Now they're playing a lot slower of a game. And the Americans figuring out that reverse transition and just how crucial that is against some of these Scottish forwards. Forney awaits on top of the Rush logo. Hands it off for Tate Watts. No goals yet in this game for Tate Watts. Just an apple. Backdoor feed right there. Almost had his second. Rebound to go off the post. Now Zach Milne quickly up the floor. It's a breakaway. Cameron Fooster all alone. Fooster scores his second of the game as he gets blown up by Jake Sommer after the fact. Scotland's got another, and I believe USA is going to get a penalty for that as well.
That's a pretty easy call, but Fooster almost too calm, too relaxed. He takes a lot of time coming forward, takes a peek. He sees the defender coming. I guess he knew exactly how much time he had because he had enough, but I was getting a little contact anxiety for him with the defender racing in. Maybe he just figured he was going to draw the penalty by letting him get close, but not close enough. Beautiful goal by Fooster. He's got a big smile, and it'll be the check from behind, illegal cross-check for 2 minutes. So Scotland, a chance to really keep things swinging for them.
Little wave for the fans and family watching back home as Cameron Fooster's got his second of the game. Another breakaway bingo for number 33 in blue.
Fooster, the multi-sport athlete, plays football, basketball, does track, throws the javelin.
Scotland back on the power play here. Down by 4 with over 9 to play. Start chipping away now. It's back to a ball game. Bamford, Fletcher, save made by Malone. Now if you're Scotland, you want to be forechecking on all of these occasions here, because if you can force a turnover, that means another offensive set with the clock ticking down.
Nice calm play, though, by Jason Pachota. Under that forecheck pressure to just find the open space, not panic, and find his teammate coming off the bench to make the outlet pass.
Tate Watts will wait. She'll wait and see if Scotland will throw a double team on the big man. Watts now out in front. They'll say no goal as he stepped in the crease.
Bamford, the forward, back playing some defense, and you've really got to focus on not letting Watts get underneath and get to the baseline on you. They got a bit of a break because he did get baseline, and you can see how dangerous he is, just stepped in the crease.
Bamford will catch his breath up top. 60 seconds left on the power play. Eastwood sets the up pick. Bamford walks in, and he hooks this one right into the grass.
Looks at the stick. Obviously the stick's fault.
Holmes up top. Milne lets it fly, and he scores. Check the radar gun. Zach Milne goes top shelf. It's 17-14.
And I think Malone may have been a little fooled here because that might have been the first dead overhand we've seen in this game from either team. And it is a beauty from Milne. That is classic style. Look at that. What a perfect pick. Just gets Malone dropping a little bit, squeezes it over the shoulder, tucks it into the top corner.
Well, we talked about it when they were down 9-2 in quarter number one. Scotland needed to start drawing some penalties. What have they done since? They've drawn 4 penalties and scored 3 power play goals. Now they're down by 3 with 8:20 to go in regulation. Game number 1 at the IIJL World Juniors. It's Cody Jansen, Stephen Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you this evening from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Fooster, he'll try defend. On the roll, Carawan around Eastwood, stopped by LeBlanc. Rebound on the ground. J.J. Milne's got to get back. Shot clock will get reset. Senez here. As a bouncer, he won't shoot this one though. Behind the net, dunk attempt. LeBlanc got over. And they'll say, well, it must have been a stick that hit the net and not ball on LeBlanc. Bouncer by Senez, and that's a good save with the left hand by LeBlanc. Rebound out in front. And behind the back attempt goes wide by Spencer Vandenberg.
Scotland with the defense all over Vandenberg. I think they thought he'd lost the ball. They just kind of stopped for a moment.
Vandenberg for Senez. 10 to shoot. Room opens. Colsey goes wide. Scotland defender a little slow to peel himself off the turf. Now that ball's going to go to the outside, and Riley Stroob didn't get a hold of it. Chucked it maybe half the second after. And
have a goalie water
I think
break.
we got a water break here with 7:08 left to go in quarter number 4. Between the benches is Ryan Flaherty for us here. Scotland down by 3. It's not looking like much of a coaching opportunity right now. They're kind of just catching their breath.
Yeah, guys, absolutely. This is no whiteboards are out right now. Just some encouragement, some reminders of what they've been talking about throughout this game, what they've been preaching to the respective teams. It is crunch time, and it is a close game. And I don't know that a lot of people were maybe expecting this, especially the way things started. But now is when it's time to dig deep. And we talked off the top about that conditioning team. The USA team is feeling that they have what it takes to really go the full 60. And we're going to see if it really bears fruit here down this final 7 minutes. Because if they really are as superiorly, as I make up words, conditioned compared to some of their opposition, and it should prove out here over the last stretch of this fourth quarter, because I think you're starting to see that Scotland team maybe just wearing down just a little bit. They've been run hard all night.
And Cody, I'm going to give you some props, because we were talking before the game, what kind of score, what kind of game are we seeing? And you were saying maybe in the 30s, 30 goals. We've had 31.
Well, I said 18-14, so we are
pretty
really dang close.
Yeah, 7:08 to go.
Not that we need
like
to
we're
talk about our
past that
predictions here, but yeah, we are looking at a goal fest. And in watching shoot-around as well, you kind of get that idea as Scotland's made a goaltending change as well. Now it'll be Ethan Dalkeith between the pipes. So Eric LeBlanc comes out for the final 7 minutes here. Holmes sends it down. Scotland on the roll. Shot comes from McAndrew, and save is made by Malone. LeBlanc has gone down the tunnel. Not sure if it's a gear thing or I believe I see the ice pack out. But we'll keep an eye on it nonetheless. Ethan Dalkeith is now between the pipes for Scotland to close it out here. Baseball style, the closer stepped in. Watts, outside look. Ball goes off the foot of Dalkeith and off the post, and it'll bounce 200 feet down into American territory.
That's a tough one for Dalkeith, coming in 53 minutes into the game. Usually you're coming in a bit earlier if you're going into relief, or later if you're coming in to be the fresh guy running to the bench, but challenging spot for him.
On the roll now, DeGrasse rips that one high, and it's brought down by McCulloch. You're right, about 2 hours ago was the last shot Dalkeith got in warm-ups, and now USA looking to take advantage of a cold goaltender between the pipes. Up 17-14, 5:55 left to go here. On the logo, Stroob and Senez play pass. Out of the corner again, bouncers on Dalkeith, and he falls down on it. Not the most comfortable looking save, but he keeps it out. Scotland, again, slow to get to the bench. As Ryan Flaherty mentioned, Scotland is looking well more tired than their opponents in white right now. Caleb McAndrew has Fletcher up top to McNeil. Fletcher sets the pick. It's off the side of the goal. Caught a piece of the post from distance. Now back the other way. USA's got a break. It's Bachota for his second. Stopped. Rebound. Stopped again. Back to back by Dalkeith.
And by far the most comfortable and calm he's looked in there without having time to think on the rebound play. Just throw up, let the instincts take over.
USA throws this one away. It's Fooster. He's got 2 in the game. Watts is the lone man back. Up the floor, back to Milne, and then he drops the pass. Hit J.J. Milne in the stick, and he's unable to get a partial break. Down behind the play, Cooper Damali is grabbing onto his hamstring, and that doesn't look good for USA.
Hopefully just a cramp, but he's looking very uncomfortable. And all over Marty, the first one out there, he hustles to go and help Damali. You can see him just tangled up, goes down, and immediately grabbing for that hamstring, as you said. Here's Bachota on the break. He had the wide open look early in the game when he got that first goal. And this one, a little bit more pressure, but a pretty nice shot, just pings it off the far post. Bachota's had an excellent game for the U.S., playing a two-way game.
Open the scoring, he's drawing opportunities, and again, it's been a very well-balanced team. You've got 3 guys with more than 5 points. You know, Josiah DeGrasse, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. Nate Senez has got 3 and 3. Ryan Colsey's got 4 and 1. And now this has huge tournament implications. You never want to see this, especially on game number 1, but Cooper Damali's hopped up. Ryan Flaherty is between the benches, and Ryan, I guess you're closer than us up here in the broadcast booth. What are you seeing on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, not much more than what you could see on the replay there, but it did just look like, you know, his plant foot almost kind of stuck a little bit on the turf there, maybe just looking to turn, and he wasn't able to rotate, I don't think, fully. And obviously at the end of a long game here, and it's warm, and he's been running hard, that can you can really feel the effects. Obviously, you can see he's walking off on his own, but clearly one of the leaders for this team, and the Americans would certainly not want to lose him for the rest of the tournament. Cooper
Damali walks off at his own power, but he's heading right down the tunnel to the American dressing room. Back underway, USA up by 3, 4:26 left to go in regulation. Little inside flip, low to high comes from Strube. It's over the net. They gave him a reset. We'll see if the refs are going to count it down. I think they're saying, keep going, guys. Senez, a little outside look here. Fooster's beat to the middle, and Carawan scores. USA's got the cushion. Jackson Carawan through the middle. Goes low, and it's 18-14.
And you talked recently about Scotland looking a little bit tired, a little bit more worn out, and that looks like some guys maybe making a little slow decision, so mentally a bit tired, and then the feet just not there, it looks like, to get in, because that was some pretty wide open look for Carawan coming off the little pick to create that opening.
What a play by the Ohio kid. Second goal of the game, 4th point for Jackson Carawan. Finds the back of the net, and you could hear the sigh of relief from that USA bench. They weren't comfortable being in a 3-goal game with Scotland. What a save by Ethan Dalkeith on the back door. Now a penalty upcoming, and after the fact, DeGrasse is going to rip that one in. He's getting called for the slash for sure. I don't think he'll get an unsportsmanlike for that, though.
Yeah, didn't see the unsportsmanlike called. They're having a discussion, though. Is he going to get 2? I mean, the whistle hadn't gone before he shot it, right? Yeah, so I think that's a good call. You don't need to give him the double up there, but DeGrasse put that one home on the yawning cage that had been abandoned by Malone. And now the power play for Scotland, which has been really picking up steam here in the second half. And Eastwood, again, down on the crease. And have you noticed how much Eastwood's been playing defense?
Oh, he's a two-way player.
Yeah, he's not getting
He does
caught.
it in junior all summer long.
Yeah.
And the craziest part as well, again, he's a rookie in juniors. He will take on any 21-year-old. Not afraid of that at all. Holmes is up top. Low to low. That hit a body in front. Eastwood's got the loose ball. Does it on the shot clock. Skip pass over. Another shot got blocked. That one just absolutely absorbed by Ethan Kessler. Not even a second thought to put his thigh in the way. That'll leave a welt on a Monday, and the tournament goes all the way until Saturday. Senez up top. Eastwood will stay back on defense here. And you got to think, if you're Scotland, you're exploding that fifth defender in Eastwood as soon as you force a turnover. Ball's on the ground, and there goes Eastwood, but they're a little slow in getting it up to him. They might have had him for a breakaway, and dropping it behind the plate was Angus Murdoch.
Yeah, I think they still had him when Malone picked up the ball. He just wasn't looking up the floor.
Fletcher for Milne. Milne's got one already. Thought about stepping into this one. Fletcher's inside. Save is made by Malone.
That was a nice little play by the Scots to create that opportunity.
Malone ended up having it slide behind him there. Got some more oohs and ahs out of the crowd, but it rolls wide. Carson Egg brought another Illinois product down into the corner. Being defended by West. 6 on the shot clock. Senez just dumps this one in the corner and goes off for a change so they can get the penalty killers out there.
It's interesting with Scotland, so many times international lacrosse, you see they try to get more native players. They'll bring in some Canadian or North American coaches. In this case, a lot of heritage players as they try to get this program going. I'm going to let you finish and then get back to that.
Eastwood looking for number 7. Save is made by Malone, and he's able to cradle that one back into the crease to pick it up.
But all of these Scotland coaches have been members of the Scotland senior national team playing for Scotland at the World Lacrosse Men's Box Championship. Bit of a reversal there.
Got to see him back in 2019 in Langley.
It was a lot of fun.
Holmes now behind the net ends up throwing this one away.
That's a killer.
Picked off by DeGrasse. Now 63 seconds left to go. Game number 1 at the IIJL World Juniors in Saskatoon, home of the Saskatchewan Rush. As USA happy to sit on this as well. I think they're thinking long term here and no need to eat a couple more hacks and whacks just for fun. Late shot on goal, save given to Dalkeith, and they'll try an outlet pass as Fooster almost got blown up. Hard pick got set as well, and Scotland wasn't having any of that. This trainer McCulloch lowered a shoulder into his American counterpart.
I like that McCulloch play. Go for that. It's probably going to be a turnover, whatever. At that point, your guy gets blown up. I think Fooster was a little lucky that the timing wasn't quite perfect. It could have been worse on that initial hit.
Over and back. Now Holmes steps into that, and that's a good stop by Malone, his finest of the second half. Scotland trying to force a turnover. They're going to throw the triple team in here. Goes for and against as Holmes got the shot off. There's a player down in front in Fletcher. USA's going to have it, but time's going to expire. The Americans 1-0 to start the week. Scotland falls to 0-1, 18-14, the final score in Saskatoon.
What a game for Scotland to come back. The U.S. is going to want to work on a lot of things, but you get the win. Obviously, the most crucial element there. But you got to love the heart from Scotland, battling back and really making a game of it. And then the U.S. not getting too flustered. I think Oliver Marty's going to want them to be a little bit more poised as they go through this tournament, because they've certainly got the athleticism. We're going to have our players of the game announced shortly, and then the anthem of the winning team.
Well, let's head on down to floor level here. Well, I guess we'll wait for the teams to shake hands, and then we'll do player of the game. Coming up still, Poland versus Canada at 8 o'clock. Scotland, this is their tournament debut. A 4-goal loss against USA. Nothing to hang your heads about. USA bronze medals back to back to back at this tournament.
Mm-hmm. And not bad. I mean, again, when you're down 9-2, after the first quarter, you come back and it's 12-9 for Scotland the rest of the way. They have to be happy with that, and it's got to put them in a better frame of mind and position moving forward. You see Thomas Moffat, the last man in line, the head coach for Scotland, not looking excited, but I think they're going to take a lot of positives from this.
Final shots on goal, 62-47. So for Scotland, I think Eric LeBlanc was very good at times, and I think that there's still some goals he wants back. I wonder how much nerves played into this for the young netminder.
Yeah, and for the whole Scottish team early on, because as much as he'd like some of those goals back, there were a lot of open looks, a lot of missed assignments early in the game for Scotland. That did improve substantially. It stood out when there was one later in the game as opposed to being the norm, like early in the game.
Well, now let's head down to the floor for the player of the game announcements.
No surprise there. Nolan Eastwood with the sock trick. Fantastic, played well at both ends. And we've talked about how this tournament is so great for players to get some experience. And there are revelations for me. There's the first revelation of this tournament. I have not seen Nolan Eastwood very much before this. And wow, he brings a lot to the table.
Well, we were watching shoot-around together, and the coach came down and said, we didn't know what we were getting from Eastwood.
And Colsey for the U.S., the couple of backdoor quick sticks, scored goals in a bunch of different ways, and he's going to come over and look very serious as he receives that from Chris Fox, the president of IIJL, and they'll share a nice handshake, but great performances by both of those guys on the offensive ends.
Colsey plays D1 at the University of Virginia. 4 goals, 1 assist. We'll step aside for the American national anthem. Star-Spangled Banner spells the end of game number 1. USA beats Scotland 18-14. Josiah DeGrasse 6 points, and Nate Senez 6 points. Ryan Colsey 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points. What a start to the tournament for Oliver Marty's squad. They faced a little bit of adversity after going up 9-2. Scotland found a way to battle back. The Americans got the performance they needed. Aidan Malone closed it out between the pipes. For Scotland, they got the performance of the tournament already. Nolan Eastwood, a sock trick, 6 goals, 1 assist, 7 points. But it was Cooper Damali and company who come out on top. 18-14, the final score. We're back at 8 with Canada and Poland. Join us then.